Good evening and welcome to the final of the Racket and Tennis Club Open. As you may have just heard from our centre ref and announcer Dylan Patterson, we have the team of Scott Arnold and James Stout in white versus Chris Callis and Mikey Ferrer in black. This whole event we've been trialling the 11-point scoring system versus 15, so that it is games to 11, win by 2 at 10 all, and should it get to 14 all, it's sudden death. So nice full crowd here this evening for the Racket Club head pro James Stout and two of the Racket Club's most prominent squash members, Chris Callis and Mikey Ferrer. So lots of home interest here in this game. So something we've been seeing a lot this week with the 11-point scoring is that the matches get off to a very aggressive start. There's no sort of settling in from the very first point. Everything matters. There's no throwaway points around the 4s and 5s anymore, and it's really up to the intensity. As we're seeing here, we've gone straight off at a ferocious pace. Very long second rally here. Just all 4 players really wanting to feel out the court. I'm joined in the commentary box by another prominent Racket Club squash member, Kyle Martino.
Hi, Susie.
Hi, Kyle.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm well, too.
Talking about, James Stout, just not quite seeing that one come through. Just talking about the intensity, the increased intensity at the start of matches with the 11-point scoring.
Yeah, you can't really let 1 point go. It's much more valuable than in the 15-point scoring system, so
you feel like every point counts a little bit more?
I mean, for sure. I mean, mathematically, but also just mentally. I feel like losing 1 extra point takes much more of a mental toll than 15-point scoring, where you feel like you can kind of just get into a rhythm, get more comfortable as the match goes on. And this one, you can't really do that. A lot of players are out there saying that they just don't feel like they can get into the same rhythm as they used to be able to. So getting a 3-point lead in the beginning is massive compared to the 15-point scoring system.
Interesting.
What are your thoughts on it?
I've really enjoyed watching the matches with the shorter scoring this weekend. I think the fact that it is the lack of sort of comfortable rallies through the middle makes it much more watchable with the higher intensity and the sort of more aggressive play. And the understanding that you can't make stupid throwaway errors. We've had some really great matches. You played a couple of those really great matches. Really enjoyed watching you and John Russell play this weekend. Congrats on a great tournament.
Some matches better than other.
I mean, your semi-final definitely wasn't your best showing,
No.
but your quarter-final against Clinton Liu and Jamie Haycox was a really great match. The crowd loved it. I think that was the highlight of the weekend so far.
We got a full stands here, though. More crowded than I think it's been all weekend, so it's not surprising, obviously. But
we've got some crowd favourites on the court here.
Yeah.
But, so second seeds, Callis Ferrer off to a good start. Up a little buffer of 2 points, but as you were just saying, it can change very quickly.
And I'm not sure if there's really an advantage to either team here in the 11-point versus 15-point scoring system. I feel like both teams are kind of equally suited for both.
I would agree. I don't think are you suggesting that there were teams that it was better suited to? But I do agree. I think this is a very even team, evenly matched, evenly talented.
Yeah.
So, do you think there's a fitness aspect that comes into play with the 11th scoring?
I think there certainly can be. I think that there are certain teams that you can try to break down a little bit more as the points go longer, and this is a match where, in a 15-point scoring system could go easily 2 hours long plus. But on this court, pretty much everyone's fit. Everyone has the experience, so I wouldn't expect that too much in this type of match.
Seems to be a bit of a cross-court war going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on? You have a favorite team here, in terms of expected win?
I think this is a really interesting matchup. I think you've got Mikey Frey, who's the oldest player on the court, but still
right?
playing.
I didn't realize that.
I know you wouldn't know it watching him play or looking at him, but yeah, I think Mikey's in his 40s, and then James and Scott just behind him in the late 30s, and you've got Callis in his early 30s, and I think Chris Callis is one of the best players to have played in the tour in a long time. I think he puts up some of the best stats of any player out there, and obviously, long-time partner with Martha, and Manik's phenomenally good, right? Spectacularly good, and they sort of overshadowed Chris a little bit, but Chris is a fantastic player in his own right, and he's incredibly consistent, and he plays the big points better than anybody else. And I think with a player like him on the court, you can't ever underestimate the team.
Right.
And then on the other side, you've got Mikey, who can hit 12 winners in a row.
Chris can also do that.
Yes. Mikey's also can be very error prone. So I think this match is going to be a little bit decided on the number of errors that Scott is able to keep it to, and Mikey, to be honest. I think Chris and James are pretty even. Maybe James a little bit more creative, but similar fitness, similar movement. James a little bit quicker maybe. But I think this match to me comes down to how well Mikey and Scott are attacking the ball.
I would agree. I mean, they're off to quite a good start here. I feel like Mikey's intensity is pretty unmatched, I think. James, obviously, unbelievable competitor in his own right, but I feel like Mikey's able to just get right in there and get going.
He certainly is. And him and Chris, they've played together a lot before. They know each other's game. Chris is very comfortable with Mikey's intensity, which, for some partners can be a little intimidating. It's not for Chris. So I will also say as well, Mikey really played phenomenally well yesterday in the semi-finals. Really took the game to, they beat Cameron Pilley and Ryan Cascali 3-1. Really took the game to them. Any ball that was loose in the racket, he went for it. His winner to error ratio was great. So we'll see a little 3-point lead here for the team in black, which normally at this point in the game would be absolutely fine. You still feel pretty comfortable that the game's not running away from you. But with 11 scoring, the end of the game is now in sight for the black team. So the white team.
That one clipped Callis there.
So Mikey's cross-court just catching Callis. I think that's going to be a point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Scott didn't shape for that one.
Scott didn't shape, so there was no expectation. He didn't give Callis the expectation that he didn't need to clear it. It just hit him. So that's a point for the team in white. A little unfortunate. But
getting back in it here, though. Quick 8-2 to now 6-8. So
right back in it.
Couple points right back in it.
So another let there. Just James getting caught out of position a little bit. Trying to hold high in the court can sometimes get you in trouble. But when you've got Mikey firing in that reverse so quickly, you've got to be high in the court.
Oh, that's a good shot by Scott there. Reverse three-wall boast roller.
Is that your nightmare shot, the reverse three-wall boast?
I've been known to kick the ball a few times when I get up there, so.
Take your own toenail off with your racket.
Scott hit one at me yesterday, and that's all I could think about. I'm sure he was thinking about it, too.
I think everyone was thinking about whether you were going to make contact with it or just give it a boot.
Fortunately, I just put a lob up, but it was
mentally taxing.
To be fair, it's a very awkward.
Oh, there you go. That's the classic Mikey cross-court roller.
It certainly is. There's not a huge amount you can do about that other than not give it to him. But as we said, he is the oldest player on the court, so moving him up and down the wall is a good tactic. But it's a double-edged sword if you're hitting to the guy that can put the ball away the most.
Oh, that's an error from Scott there. Uncharacteristic from him. Not the most, but relative to some.
Scott can hit some phenomenal shots. He can also make some errors. Can't we all?
Yes, we can.
Is your favourite error on the back wall? Is that your most consistent error?
Off the back wall?
Like flying out the back wall.
Ooh, definitely back in the day, at least. So now it seems to be more the tins for me now.
And that serve was down. Yep, second serve. Interesting body language from the white team. Both still seem very relaxed. Probably a little bit of nerves here. I haven't done the math, but I think there's potential for a change in world number 1 with the result of this match.
I actually did look at that yesterday.
You did?
Yeah, and there is potential for a change.
What would that change be, Kyle?
The change would be Stout overtaking for number 1 if he wins this match.
Okay, so we've got the current world number 1, Chris Callis, try and defend his position, and James Stout, current world number 3, I think.
Possibly
anyway,
2,
well, he's not
either
number
way.
1,
Yeah.
but, so yes, there could be a changing in the guard at the top of the rankings
Should
with
know
the
that,
outcome of this match. And that would be the first time that James Stout would have made it to world number 1 on the SDA Pro Tour. But so far,
First game to Ferrer and Callis. I think if there's anyone, I would say that Stout is probably the smartest on the court, though.
absolutely.
And I think if there's a team that can recover from a 1-0 game differential, Stout'll have some thoughts.
I don't think this is going to be a short game. I don't see this being a one-way street.
Right, I don't either.
Ready for settling, Kyle. He's got his snacks with him and his beer, so he should be fine to see out 5 games here. Welcome back. Second game, the Racket and Tennis Club Open. First game went to the second seeds, Chris Callis and Mikey Ferrer, in a pretty high-paced, high-intensity first game. Team in white just making a few errors and looking a little lackadaisical. I'd say their body language has shifted slightly here. Looking much more aggressive. Still keeping with the high pace, which is an interesting tactic, given that that's very much a comfort zone for both Callis and Mikey. Racket Club Court's got one of the most spectacular ceilings of any sports arena you'll see, but specifically for squash, it's got a that's a great spot there from Mikey James, just retrieving the ball in the front left corner and trying to put it by him. Got himself in a tangle. But the ceiling here is very, very high and perfect for just good, high moving balls that get people into the back of the court. But at the moment we're looking mostly at breaking balls. Scott with his trademark reverse from the back wall. Nice finishing shot there from James Stout into the front left corner. Scott plays that reverse from the back of the court really well. Manages to thread the needle through the middle, especially when someone hasn't crossed. He really looks for it because it puts them in such a bad spot. That's odd tin. Like the team in white have taken a bit of a step forward. They're a lot higher in the court than, Scott's a lot higher in the court, I should say, than they were previously. James Stout, world rackets champion, is a big fan of being high in the court, likes to really step up, isn't scared of the pace because it's still a lot slower than a rackets ball. But he's high enough there that Mikey and Chris are finding awkward angles on him. Creates a little 2-point lead. There's that reverse which went out from the back when someone hasn't crossed. So it's Scott looking for the angle on Mikey. Mikey, the only player on tour with a double-handed swing. Played like that since he was a kid. Seems to really work well on the doubles, especially reaching above his head, just has a little bit more strength. He was able to do that with fair consistency. It's such a great shot. Very hard to play at the pace that he does, but I do think that second hand on the racket gives him a little bit more oomph than just swinging at it with one. So Callis Ferrer getting another good start in this second game, 5-1 up.
Prediction not looking great so far.
For a long match, no.
Nice shot from James.
Good finish that just worked Mikey back a little bit. Callis's shot just leaving him a little exposed at the front. But certainly fast and furious, Kyle. Which I'm not sure would be, if I was giving team advice, would be the advice I'd give when on court with Mikey. Is that fair? It's a great shot from Scott.
Good
retrieval. Callis has been moving really well all week.
Oh. That's what happens after you get, a shot that you think could have been a winner. Callis recovers it. You feel a little bit pressured to try and go for a little more there, and it just forces the error out of Scott. Nice shot from James.
Yeah, I think Scott's going to have to be a little bit patient here because Callis is going to get a lot of balls back, and it might not be the first one that's the winner. It might be the second or third. But in the meantime, keep it off Mikey's right. Oh,
I think that's going to be a no.
I would hope so. We have Dylan Patterson, Racket Club and Squash Committee, Games Committee member here as the centre ref, and then SDA pros Osama Khalifa and Josh Hughes on the lines. What
would be your game plan if you were Team White here?
I think watching yesterday with Koskelly and Pili, they had a lot of success in really moving Mike. Oh, Chris, right choice. Had to hurdle a flat Mikey to get that one back. But I think, yeah, it would be to move Mikey sort of up and down the left wall, I think, and to be pulling Callis over into the front left to come cover and open up that right wall for Scott. And, you know, I was just saying how great the ceiling is here. And, you know, the option for the height and the angles and the middle balls. You know, I'd probably want to be hitting to Mikey's backhand. Sorry, his forehand where possible, like having him come across. Not quite sure what happened there.
I think they're debating the similar situation as before where Callis got the stroke against him. I think he was saying here that he didn't shape, and so he is expecting a point himself. He's saying it's the exact same situation as that one. I think it's a little bit different. More ambiguity in this one.
I think that was more ambiguous, yeah. The one before just very clearly just went straight into him. Nobody moved.
Although, I don't know, I did see Callis kind of took his arm up to avoid the ball.
I think they've just agreed to a let. I think that was given a no let, and the players have just reversed that because we've gone back to 5-6. Right. Well, guess it was a no let. Squash fairies. So good effort here from the team in white. They've pulled it back from 5-1 to 6-all. Game on. They've got to stop giving Mikey that overhead. He hits it so well and so flat. Must be unusual for Callis to be on the court and not be the person seeing every ball.
I was actually just about to say, I think I don't disagree with the moving Mikey up and down, but I still kind of think that I'd be playing up and over Callis a little bit more.
Would you go up and over Callis and then shoot front left?
I don't know. I think if you can get Callis in the back, he moves fantastic. That was a really good shot.
Yeah. Great spot.
But sometimes you can catch him a bit off guard, I find, and he's not less dangerous than Mikey by any stretch. But Mikey can sometimes just, if you're trying to do that, lob to the back, if you leave it a little short, then he's just so dangerous.
That's true. I think that's the problem that Koskelly and Pili had yesterday, is that they just put too many on Mikey's racket, and he was hot yesterday. Wow, 5-1 to 8-6. And as you just said, actually, the last two winners they've hit have been into the back right. So Callis is coming a bit too far across, trying to cover, and it's opening up the right wall.
Yeah, look at this. Complete turnaround. Actually, this is I recognize what's going on here. This happened to us in our third game yesterday, a little 5-2 lead, and then we lose 9 points in a row to lose the match.
You lost 9 straight points.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's good.
It's a good effort.
It's a good effort.
It's a really nice backhand drop shot from Callis. I'd say that's his go-to shot under pressure, and he plays it so well. It's so solid with his he turns his shoulders, leaves his feet where they are, and just puts in. Sort of good technique gets you.
A little loose there.
We say Scott's body language looking a bit more positive over the last 7-8 rallies.
Yeah. He's pushing up the court a bit more.
Ooh.
Take a let.
It was a good cross. I mean, he wanted to take away that sidewall for sure. He was lucky he didn't get a divot. Big point this one. 9-7. Big point in the 11 scoring. huge difference between game ball 10. Oh, Callis.
Error from Callis.
It's a good break on the wall at fast pace. Scott just screening it slightly, so he probably caught that late. All right, 3 game balls for the team in white to make it 1-all.
Ooh. Was he trying to hit it straight there?
That was unnecessary. Callis takes it like a champ.
Looked like maybe it was a bit of a glancing blow.
It was. I mean, he
full
did.
On, but
he did give it. His cross didn't quite cross.
Right here, same situation. So maybe he was just trying to go straight down the middle, like
yeah,
he just
I think
did
Callis is a little wide. Oh, I thought Scott was going to go for it, but Callis had crossed, so the angle wasn't there. Good recovery. Yeah,
Slalom, get back in the
Stout
point.
doing Stout things. That's a great shot.
Classic double
All the
shot
way
there.
around, absolutely. I think we've seen a lot more angles, a lot more use of the whole court in this game from both teams than we saw in the first one. Oh, and that one just clipped the outline, making it 1 game all.
Good comeback from
Great
Team
comeback.
White.
Great comeback. So a busy weekend here in New York for the Racket Club Open. Had a lot of teams trying the 11 scoring. We had a huge qualifying draw. It was also the Mixed Nationals done in Philadelphia this weekend. So congratulations to SDA players Georgina Stoker and John White, who won the Mixed Nationals yesterday. Okay, we're back in the commentary box. Myself, Susie Pierpont, and Kyle Martino. We have snacks, and
Queen
we're ready
Susie.
for we're ready for 3 more games.
Dictator Susie.
Dictator Susie, I like that.
Sar. Sar Pierpont.
Thanks, Kyle.
You're welcome. Anything.
All right, predictions for this game. What are you telling the black team after that second game? How are you re-energizing them? Because 11-7 like that, you know, they were 5-1 up, and they lost that game 11-7. So they essentially they went 9-5 down.
Well,
Yes, what?
no let. That was a good shot. Right, split the middle.
Ooh.
I don't think either one of them would have been able to get it right. It's hard to tell from this angle.
Is it? I thought Scott looked like he was ready to play that.
I think he turned a bit late, and it was probably by him by the time.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, you guys can't see it. We've got a little replay happening, and Kyle was correct. Scott's racket preparation was too late.
Unusual mission from Susie.
I was incorrect, and Kyle was correct. It's the first time for everything.
But so going back to what you said, I think they started playing a lot to James. James was seeing a lot more balls than I think he saw in maybe the first game, beginning of the second, and he can just be so tricky and create so much on his racket.
Agreed. I think because we were talking about how there was more angles, there were more double shots, there was more moving around. I feel like you're right. That came from James being more involved with the play.
Yeah, and not necessarily being the one to hit the winners always, but it just creates a lot of opportunity for Scott to have a loose ball that he can then do something with.
I think it also helped open up that left wall. Like it moved Callis into odd positions.
Mikey likes that shot.
He does, but that was a little tight on the back wall sidewall.
He didn't have as much time with it.
Do you think the egos involved here means that if one goes for it, the other has to?
I think Mikey just likes going for it no matter what.
I agree. I feel like every time Mikey hits a winner, you kind of see Scott and James being like, oh, now we need to hit a really spectacular winner too.
James definitely has some ego, but I don't know if that's a conscious decision. Maybe a subconscious one, though.
I mean, every athlete has an ego, Kyle. Yourself included.
Thank you.
Yeah. Otherwise, don't bother. If you don't think you're good at this, signing up for a professional tournament's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, it seems like black team is finding their length a little bit better this game.
That shot is so good, it's silly.
And he makes it two-handed backhand look pretty.
It's spectacular, especially when you watch it from this angle and you just watch it pop out of the nick and on the left of our screen. Great get there from Chris Callis.
You can go for that one. It's not the wrong shot. Had James a little bit further back, but...
Well, yes, there was good length into the back corner. Moving him into the front right.
Plus, when you have a 5-1 lead, you have a little bit of a cushion. Not the worst one to go for.
Well,
and that's the kind of shot. That's the kind of shot that I'm talking about. James just kind of can flick his wrist and hit some unexpected shot that you're just not anticipating.
So just to reiterate, 11-point scoring being used here. When the game gets to 10-all, it's win by 2 until it gets to 14-all, at which point it's sudden death. Oh wow!
Good shot, James.
Great reverse into the front right corner there from James Stout. Middle of the court, nice and flat. So this event's the second to last tournament for the 2022-23 season. Season ender, another one from almost the same spot, a little bit further forwards. But next weekend will be the last tournament of the season in Buffalo, New York. Lots of players very excited. One of the more popular stops on the tour. People really enjoy going up to Buffalo. And then summer hiatus begins. Scott just catching the out of court line, lob from the front right. So once again, the black team got off to a really good start, got themselves a little cushion, but the team in white have pulled it back. So we'll see if this go around they can keep it more even and not let them pull away, not let the team in white pull away. pace has gone up. Frantic.
Ooh.
James saw that coming. Oh, behind the back from Scott Arnold. Not sure if Scott needed James's assist in the front right.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Solid right there. It's not a bad angle. He was just able to kind of turn on it and put it into that reverse corner. It's a good shot.
Twas.
Good anticipation from Callis.
That's a smart choice there from James, rather than going short. Both Scott and James doing a good job of working that angle, that right wall angle into Chris.
Good lob.
Oof.
Intensity's definitely stepped up a bit here from this point.
Certainly has. It's a long point. Good reset from Scott. Allows James to get back in position. Mikey's really looking for that middle ball. I think he's looking for what gets coughed up from it. Oh, just missed.
Oh, Mikey.
James just missing the nick with a reverse 3-wall. Popped up. Mikey went for the cross-court nick and just clipped the tin. All right, the black team needs to make sure that they stay in this here. They can't let Stout Arnold get a couple of points and pull away. It's, I think this is the point. I would say this is the point in the game that people are still sort of getting used to, right? Is that this point being crucial rather than it being sort of the intermediary point of the game.
Oh, great shot. Yeah, 6-all used to be really just when the game was kicking off. Now it's
crunch time.
Yeah.
Which is honestly why I've been really enjoying these matches. There's no throwaway points unless you just don't want to win. Ooh, no contact there, simple that. That's a lovely shot. Backhand lob from the middle of the court from Stout. Really nice and slow and controlled. And now we're into less slow and controlled. How far up the court Scott is.
Did he just clip James there, I think?
Did.
Another little glancing shot, nothing too bad. Scott doing a good job, though, of not just, on his cross courts, hitting it, into the same spot on the wall. He's kind of putting it onto Mikey's body on the right hip. So, Mikey's having to go to the back wall and take it from there. And he's doing a good job of, the pace is still pretty high, but still mixing up where he's actually giving it to Mikey so that he's not able to see that cross-court nick that he's so good at putting away.
Right. Just being really thoughtful about mixing up the where you're aiming for on the sidewall, even if the pace is similar, right?
Right.
There's another let there. Scott just looking for the middle. Middle on Mikey's forehand at pace. Just James getting tangled up. Would you describe this court as fast or slow, Kyle?
So I was actually just thinking about that. It's not a fast court. I definitely wouldn't say. You have to make sure you're finding your spots on the wall to get the ball actually to the back and get good length. and then in the front, it takes the ball in quite well. So this weekend, it's felt a little bit, I guess bouncier than typically, and maybe that's just the, nature of the games that are going on versus what we're usually used to playing here. But you can put in a really nice ball that stays up in the front quite well, which suits all these players.
A very true court?
I think so. You don't often get too many that are, flying off the wall in a weird way. Yeah, it's definitely a consistent court. The ball goes where you're expecting it to off the front. It can play slow a little bit, but.
I mean, it's pretty warm outside. It's pretty warm in here today, so.
Right. Yeah. Mikey trying to catch James out of position, I think. Forcing a little too much.
All right, it's that 9-7 point again. Oh, clutch winner there from Mikey, little fist bump. As he should. That was a great reverse winner into the front right corner. Huge point here for the black team to get them back to 9-all rather than game ball down, risking going 2-1 down. Scott just got a little close to that cross court at the front. Didn't quite have the room for his full swing. Yeah, I mean, not much Scott could have done to get out of the way of that one, so just to let.
It's not the best shot from James, but that's something that James looks for a lot. Actually, is where he knew Callis was in the back, so he's not going to try and hit the tightest.
That was a great ball through the front there from Mikey, I think, just catching Scott off guard. 9-all. Did that hit James?
No, I think he just fully framed the ball.
Oh, wow. James just screening that slightly with his position. Probably didn't see it till it came through. Game ball for the white team.
Great
Oh, wow.
shot from Scott there. Wow.
Trademark Scott Arnold
Clutch
reverse
ball.
from the back. What a shot. All right. Team of Stout Arnold lead 2-1 in 3 very close, very even games. We'll be back for game 4. Just cutting Kyle off there, but
I have a tendency of talking too much, especially to Susie.
No, it's a fair question. So the setup we've been using this weekend with the cameras and everything is a permanent camera setup they have here at the Racket Club, and they also have a dedicated commentary booth, which is where we are currently sat. That's somewhere in the library storeroom, it looks like. But it does mean that we're a little removed from the court. So there's a slight delay on what's happening on the court and what we see, but it also means that we can't hear. So when there is conversations happening about whether it's a let or a stroke and conversations with the referee, we don't hear that, so we're speculating. Guys on court just now warming up the ball. The ball hasn't broken, so if the ball doesn't break in the first 3 games, it automatically gets changed to start the 4th game. So just warming that up.
Predictions for this game?
My prediction here is that the black team make more errors than they did in the first 3 games. I think they're going to be trying to push it a little harder, being 2-1 down, and be looking for openings that perhaps aren't there, but we shall see. See if they can steady the ship.
There's error number 1.
Go back.
Yep.
I think that's a mistake.
You don't think it's 2-0?
I think it's 1-0, right?
I think we missed a point. I think it was 2. I think you missed an error. So 2 errors for the black team, 1 error from the white team so far. Oh, nice. Lovely backhand drop shot from the door from Scott Arnold into the front left corner. That serves down. It's that reverse boast that you hate, Kyle.
I love it.
Mikey just catching the corner with his reverse. Scott's all over it. There was a shout there from Mikey, getting frustrated with his errors.
Go back.
Not entirely sure what's happening with the scoreboard here. And as we said just now, we're a little far removed from the court, so we can't. Great angle there on Mikey from the front. Saw Scott pushing up the court. Scott's flying up there. Didn't read it quite so well. Believe that score is now correct, 4-2. Great spot from Mikey. I mean, it was a very loose reverse from Stout into the front left. Just left the middle open for Mikey to put it at Scott's feet on his backhand side.